the way that Gil starts his phrases is very composerly. Miles doesn't go da 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 da, there's not, it doesn't have that filling up the holes type approach of arranging. It has a much more organic, I hate that word, where a lot of times Gil's phrases will start before the melody and then develop along and then taper off and then go into something seemingly totally unrelated. So he's writing counter lines and counter themes that are seemingly unrelated to the actual melody line, which is very simple. I can't sing you the tune, but it's an older tune. The definitive jazz vocal piano accompanying unbelievable. They I don't know what they were on that day. When those guys, if you haven't heard that record, it's the textbook how to accompany a vocalist, how to swing, how to sing a sappy ballad as a dude, you know. It's incredible. One thing that I got from Gil Evans is having the, as we say in Maids of Cad, is the ensemble starts, the vocal or the feature comes in, and they play kind of the same thing. They're sort of in counterpoint, either with a counter line or even a block chord, and then the feature stops, and the ensemble finishes. And I did that here, where they kind of come in at the same time, but with different stuff. And that's the counterintuitive, composerly accompanying style. And you hear that. Bill Evans does the same thing. Piano players do that. They don't want to. A Broadway piano player will play the vocal line with the singer in unison and help out and guide it. But a jazz accompanist will play around naturally and improvise around what the singer's doing.
How much do you think of the bass clarinet like a bari sax in this?
None. In fact, that's why I wanted to, you want to make a real distinction. You can write the same thing for both instruments, but it sounds totally different.
Yeah. So you've got the two saxes, and then the bass clarinet is really its own.
Yeah.
Section.
I like to put the bass clarinet either in the voicing with the trombones or doubled in the counter line up in its it's up in its tenor range in the middle of the horn, around middle C of the staff here. But I also love to put it in the low note of the chord. It sounds totally different than a trombone or a bari sax. So Ellington would write a high bari sax, and it would pop out and have a lot of expression and personality. A bass clarinet player can play that very softly, and piano. It's mainly because of the dynamics. Plus, I wanted him to pop out a couple times, and with like a little Gil Evans counterline, because you're gonna write the brass the same, and you're gonna write the saxes so they sound good on their own. That's the whole principle of filling in, as you used to call it. You write the brass voice and then you fill it in with the saxes. But you also want to make this voice sound good by itself, and that's the trick. And there's no really set spacing for saxophones in this style, although you do end up, a lot of times, he calls this the buzz, the little conflict, the minor seconds that you can put in the middle, right around here. This is what gives it that Thad Jones sound. So this is an A chord. There are no roots here. If you put the A here, you would, sound like my buddies who are writing in this sort of advanced swing mode. So you put a color tone there, and it sounds great. And the other principle, which Ray always talked about, is who's playing the bass. Generally, in Thad Jones music, the bass trombone plays the bass note, and you write acoustic bass an octave higher. You don't ever put the acoustic bass on that written note because it sounds an octave lower. Thad a lot of times write out the bass part, so it doubles the bass trombone part in a shout chorus. boop 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 doo, because if you wrote it in octaves, it's too heavy. So I like to put the bari on the bottom a lot. So does Duke Ellington. And you never put the bari and the bass trombone on the same note down there. You don't have to double the bass, ever.